Dear student, good morning. Today's topics are proteins, their structure. So that we start the topic. So first one topic is what are the structure of protein. So structure of protein is very complex. The protein structure can be usually studied at 4 different levels. Example: primary, secondary, tertiary and quaternary structure. Means in a simple way the structure of protein cannot be defined. So we can have the 4 different levels. So first we take the primary structure. The sequence in which the amino acids are linked in one or more polypeptide chain of protein is called primary structure of proteins. So in a display you can see when the molecules are arranged and polypeptide chain is visible, so they are known as a primary structure. Polypeptide chain, the amino acid and peptide bond are situated between the 2 amino acids. So the repeating unit, and these are considered as a primary structure. Second one, it's a very simple structure, primary structure. Second one is a complex comparison than primary structure. It is known as secondary structure, in which the polypeptide chains are folded or arranged. Therefore, it gives the shape of conformation of the protein molecule. This arises from the plane geometry of the peptide bond and hydrogen bond between carbonyl and NH groups, means amine group of different peptide bonds. So Pauling and Corey investigated the structure of many proteins with the help of X-ray patterns. It was observed that there are 2 common types of structure are first one alpha helix structure and second one beta pleated sheath structure. So first we discuss about the alpha helix structure. So formation of alpha helix structure, formation of hydrogen bonding between amide group within the same chain causes the peptide chains to coil up into a spiral structure. This is called alpha helix structure. Most common in which a polypeptide chain forms all possible type of hydrogen bonds by twisting into a right-handed screw. In a common screw, what is known as helix, so they are known as a alpha helix, means screw type structure, with the amine group of each amino acid residue hydrogen bonded to carbonyl group of the adjacent turn of the helix. For example, myosin, this type of protein found in a muscles, and keratin, protein found in hair, nails and wounds. These are the examples of alpha helix structure. So alpha helix structure is the hydrogen bonded between the amino acid at different location in polypeptide chains, and they show their screw type model, which is known as helix, means alpha helix structure. So let me start the second type of the secondary structure, which is known as a beta pleated structure. In this structure, all peptide chains are stretched out to nearly maximum extension and then laid side by side in a zigzag manner to form a flat sheet. So why this is known as a beta pleated flat sheet structure? Each chain is held to the 2 neighboring chain by hydrogen bond. These sheets are stacked once upon another to form a 3-dimensional structure. This is known as beta pleated structure. Example: keratin is protein found in a hair, and fibrin, these are examples of this. So in a beta pleated structure, you know, all the amino acids are joined by the, and they make a flat sheet. So they are considered as a beta pleated sheet. Alpha helix joined by the hydrogen bonds, and beta pleated sheet are showing by this. The parallel and anti-parallel consider as it. The third one type structure, which is more complex comparison than primary structure and secondary structure, known as tertiary structure of protein. It arises due to the folding, coiling and bending of polypeptide chains. Means when the polypeptide chains are coiled or fold or bend, so they are become into the tertiary structure. So producing 3-dimensional structure, the main forces which stabilize the 2 degree and 3 degree means secondary and tertiary structure of protein are hydrogen bonds, disulfide linkage, van der Waals and electrostatic forces of attraction. So these types of forces are stabilized to the tertiary structure of the protein. This structure gives overall shapes of protein. Example for the folding of the secondary structure. Two major molecule shapes are fibrous and globular. So you have seen this is the type of a tertiary structure. The shape is so complex comparison than primary and secondary structure. The bonds are between in a tertiary structure. Different types of bonds we have seen. Hydrogen bond, disulfide bonds and electrostatic force also. The fourth one structure is also a very complex, highly complex comparison than three other. So quaternary structure, many proteins are exist as single polypeptide chain, but there are some proteins which exist as assemblies of two or more polypeptide chains called subunits or protomers. These subunits may be identical or different. These are held together by non-covalent forces such as hydrogen bonds. Example is hemoglobin. So it is the type of a quaternary structure you have seen, the polypeptide chains, the bonds, and it is comparison than other three type of structure. It's very complex. So by the diagram you have seen, it's a very coiled and spiral shape. So we can only see the diagram, but its study are so complex. So student, I know you very well. There are four type of structure we can study of a protein. The quaternary structure is so difficult comparison than other three. Tertiary structure. Second one, beta pleated structure, part of a secondary structure. Alpha helix structure. And this is the part of secondary structure, and first one is a primary structure. Mainly the different questions are asked, what are the difference between alpha helix structure and beta pleated structure. So by this point you can easily study the structure of the alpha helix, and second one is a beta pleated structure is when the polypeptide chain in a flat surface, so they consider as a beta pleated structure. But when the screw type, so clockwise rotate to the peptide bond, they consider as an alpha helix structure. So student, now we start the next topic, the forces that stabilize protein structure. So there are many types of bonds or formation to the structure of a protein. So first one, the bond is the hydrogen bond, hydrogen bonding. It is a weak force and arise between partially positive and partially negative atoms such as oxygen, fluorine or nitrogen, which has the most electronegative atoms. So the hydrogen bond will form in a protein on the same or different molecules. So the hydrogen bonding will form when the hydrogen joined by in a protein by the oxygen, nitrogen, fluorine type of the atom. But it's a very weak bonding. Second one, ionic bonding. It takes place between an ionic and cationic side chains, resulting side chain or cross linking. So when the cross linking form in the protein, the ionic bonding is formed. Third one type is known as a covalent bonding. It is the most common form of interchain bonding. And disulfide means SS bond formed between sulfur atoms of two cysteine residues. Example, insulin consists of two polypeptide chain and linked together by disulfide bond. So covalent bonding is mostly shown in the protein chain. The next one is known as a hydrophobic bonding. Many amino acid residues have hydrophobic means water hating side chains. Protein in aqueous solution fold so that most of the hydrophobic chains become clustered inside the folds. The polar side chains, which are hydrophilic means water loving, lie on the outside or the surface of proteins. So when the proteins are solved in the water, so the surface of formed by the hydrophobic bonding are repel to this, but the interlayer which is hydrophilic, they are attract to the water and the solubility are there. So student, diagrammatically you have seen the hydrophobic interaction on the surface if the layer is outside, the covalent bond, disulfide bond, two layers which are joined by this, the salt bridge formed by this, and hydrogen bonding when the other types of electronegative atom joined by the hydrogen, amine group or different group. So these type of bonding are formed by in a protein structure. So I hope you easily study about this. So these are the forces are found in the structure of a protein. So now we start another segment, native state of protein. So most energetically stable state of a protein, native state are correspond to the protein found in a biological system with a unique three-dimensional structure or configuration and biological activity. Means native state means their general state, ground state, when the proteins are show their chemical behavior, biological behavior easily, so they consider as a native state, means a normal state of a protein. But if we are affected to this native state of protein, so they are considered as a denatured. So denaturation of proteins, a process that changes to physical and biological properties of proteins without affecting the chemical composition of a protein is called denaturation. Means a process when we change the physical and biological behavior of protein considered in a denaturation process. So it is caused by certain physical and chemical treatment such as changes in pH. If we change the pH value, means basicity or acidity if we have changed, so they are denatured process start. If we increase or decrease the temperature, so denature the protein. And presence of salt, means salt or presence, if they have ionic nature, so they are affected their nature of a protein. So these are the three factors which are denatured cause of protein: pH value means acidic basic medium, temperature increase or decrease, or salt means ionic condition. So denaturation does not change the primary structure of a protein but result in form a rearrangement of secondary and tertiary structure. Means by the denaturation the primary structure are not affected but secondary and tertiary structure are totally changed. So during denaturation the protein molecules uncoils from an ordered and specific conformation into a more random conformation and protein precipitate from solution. You know very well, in a secondary and tertiary structure the polypeptide chains are move and coil. So when the denatured process starts, so the coil become into the uncoiled condition or make the another form of coil or spiral. So the secondary and tertiary structure are changed by the denaturation process. So student, the examples of denaturation of proteins in a daily life you have seen. First one, coagulation of albumin present in the white of an egg. You know, when egg is boiled in water, the globular protein present in the changes to a rubber-like insoluble mass. This is irreversible denaturation and the protein cannot return to its original state. Means after the boiling of an egg you cannot form the yolk condition and albumin condition, they are changed. So denaturation process, the protein are not become into their original state in a normal way. Second example in a daily life you have seen, curding of milk. In the presence of an acid, for example lemon juice or any acidic medium, the milk become into the cheese or the curd formation. During this, globular milk protein, which is known as lactoalbumin, becomes fibrous proteins. So the high mass generate. So these two are the process which are the example of a denaturation of the proteins. First one, the boiling of an egg. Second one, the formation of curd by the milk. So normal protein means native state protein when the biological and chemical activity is shown by the protein. The denaturation by the three factors: pH, temperature and pH, temperature. These are the major factors which are affected the protein structure. For example, presence of salt. So mostly in a case of the when the pH value change means acidic basic medium are change or the temperature raise or decrease. So the process start. The denaturation, loss of biological activity of a protein. The normal protein become into the denatured condition. In a normal protein they show the spiral shape or coil shape, but in a denatured they become into the uncoiled, means denatured protein, and they become into the primary shape, and primary shape is not changed, but the secondary and tertiary structure are changed. If any reagent start their activity, so denatured proteins become into the renaturation, but it's difficult to become into the normal state or native state of a protein. So student, I hope you understood about all the topics, the structure of protein and the denaturation process. So let me start the exercise segment. The first one question of NCERT exercise in text 14.4. This question is said the melting point and solubility in water of amino acids are generally higher than that of the corresponding halo acid. Explain. So students, simple question. This is due to the dipolar nature of deuterion structure. It forms a strong electrostatic force included in their ionic condition. Thus, it is highly soluble in water. Amino acids are showing the positive pole and negative pole, which is situation known as deuterion. So they are easily, amino acids are attract to the solvent water. Next question, where does the water present in the egg go after boiling the egg, means after the denaturation process, where the water is go. So student, simple question, water is used in denaturation of protein through hydrogen bonding. So hydrogen bonding, the denaturation process, the water is consumed. The next question 14.11, what are essential and non-essential amino acids? Give 2 examples of each. So for the answers, you can see my previous lecture related to this topic. 14.12 also this type question, define the following as related to proteins. Peptide linkage, and we discussed in a previous lecture. Primary structure and denaturation, we in a current slide we can say what are the common type of secondary structure of protein. There are 2 types, alpha helix structure and beta pleated C2 structure. 14.14 question, what type of bonding help in stabilizing the alpha helix structure of proteins? So we can study why the topic of alpha helix, the hydrogen bonding are stabilized to this. Differentiate between globular and fibrous proteins. In my next previous lecture we can differentiate between the globular and fibrous proteins. You can easily see. How do you explain the amphoteric behavior of amino acid? This question, amphoteric behavior is caused by the deuterion condition. The amine group donate the proton, so they show the acidic behavior, and get by the carboxylate ion, so they show their basic nature, and these change into this. In my previous lecture also it is described. 14.16 question, how do you explain the amphoteric behavior of amino acids? You can easily show the amine group and the carboxylate ion group, these 2 groups are responsible for showing the amphoteric behavior, means acidic nature and basic nature in the same unit. What is the effect of denaturation on the structure of proteins? So we can say in a current topic, only the primary structure of protein is not affected, but otherwise secondary, tertiary and quaternary structure are changed. So student, I hope these are the segment of NCERT exercise you can easily explain and understood. I hope this video is useful for you. So we will meet in the next session. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot.